Wanted to welcome you, the target audience, to the Old Testament video blog of part one and two. The first question is, what do you find to be the most interesting theme that weaves through the Old Testament? The two that are most prevalent, in my opinion, would be creation, where we find God in the book of Genesis, the first chapter, going through and creating the heavens and the earth, creating the beasts of the earth and the fish of the sea, and creating man in his own image, which Adam was the first man in Eden, and Eve was the woman that was created to partner with Adam, and obviously we know of the story of Adam and Eve and the fruit that they took of good and evil that they were not supposed to, which opened their eyes to sin, where sin was prevalent in the first two chapters. We find where man broke that covenant with God, and God kicked them out of Eden, to curse the woman that she'll have labor pains and she'll always defy the leadership of man, which is Adam. Adam, it also breathed in and would work the fields for all eternity, and also brought in death at that point. So in creation, also part two, the second theme that I believe is most essential within and weaves through the Old Testament would be God's covenant. God's covenant with man, which we see started with Adam and Eve. It moved on to Abraham, where we find Abraham leaving and going to the land of Canaan, and we find where Abraham's covenant with God, that he made him the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. We also find where he had the covenant with Jacob. We find where God had the covenant with Jacob's two sons, Esau, where we find also God had a covenant throughout the Bible in multiple places. The book of the book of Genesis, we find the covenants with also through Exodus, where Israel is exiled from Egypt, and they're wandering through the land itself, looking for their next place to live. We find that to be a big term throughout the Bible itself. Between those two themes, basically, I tell you where you can find them in the Old Testament. How important are they in their own right? They're very important. They're very important because it tells us of our histories throughout the Bible, and it gives us an understanding of what the Bible has to say about us, and salvation, and where Christ later on, through the lineage of David, King David, becomes the ultimate sacrifice, and lays his life out on the line for us, so that we can have perfect fellowship with our Creator for all eternity. We find in Genesis 1:26 and 27, then God said, "Let us make mankind in our own image, in our own likeness, so that they may rule over the fish of the sea and the bird of the skies, over the livestock and all of the wild animals, and all of the creatures that move and live along the ground." So God created man in his own image. In that image of God, he created them male and female, which is the Holy Bible, New International Version, 1974 to 2011, Zondervan Publishing House. We also find that, in part two, the Abraham, where God changed Abraham's name from Abraham to, or changed his name from Abram to Abraham, That's in Genesis 17:5 through 8. No longer shall you be named and be called Abraham, but you'll be named, your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you the father of the multitude of nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make the nations of you, and kings will come forth from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after throughout their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be God to you and to your descendants after all. I will give you and your descendants after all the land of your sojourning, all the land of Canaan for the everlasting possession, and I will be their God, which is in the book, which is the Holy Bible, English Standard Version, 2011, Zondervan Publishing House. So just wanted to answer those questions out of the first vlog itself. We got another vlog up and coming. I appreciate you guys as the target audience, and appreciate just your input as we move forward throughout the Old Testament teaching. Week 4 for Dr. Morgan's class. Appreciate you all, and God bless.